Oh, it's terrific from Brianti. Played a heap of matches so far in 2011, qualifying for 2 tournaments, including this one. Throwing in the double fault, we've seen just about everything in this opening game. Oh, it's terrific by Brianti. Got into position nice and early, just hammering that ball down the line. So, after having a couple of game points, Zakopalova has given up the break. Brianti, 1-love in the opening set. Alberta Brianti's ranking has fluctuated since he joined the tour in 06. Has been as high as number 67 in the world. Now down around the 90 mark. Some more good news here. I'll let you know about in just a moment. Play is just about to get underway on court number 8 with Ayumi Morita taking on Bethany Matex Sands of the USA. So that means all 3 courts are now in operation. too big from Brianti. Right idea heading back up that line. Breakpoint opportunity for Zakopalova, a very interested spectator. That is Marion Bartoli, obviously on the right. She prepares for her match. She's next up on centre court, taking on Elena Vesnina. Good change up, or good attempt at a change up by Brianti, but Zakopalova very quick around the court. She breaks back, 1 game all, second sets. Gee, tough hitting from both players. Is way too short on the second serve from Zakopalova. Giving Brianti plenty of time to get around to that forehand. These two have not played each other before. Throwing in another double fault, so chance of another break of serve here. Still another break point for Brianti. And there it is. So another break of serve. 2 games to 1 Brianti in this opening set. Over on court number 1. Olga Govortsova leading 2 games to love in the second set. Peng Shuai taking the first 6 games to 2, and you can see that's a lovely view from where we're broadcasting. High on top of the hill, high on top of the court. It's a great view. Overlooking the mountains, overlooking the Derwent River. Panoramic views around this wonderful stadium, this boutique stadium as it's been described. Bethany Mattek-Sands holding in the first game of her match with Ayumi Morita. That match is being played out on court number 8. So it's a battle to see who will hold serve in this opening set. 3 breaks of serve already. On the line. Seen a couple of times the big forehand of Brianti. Now on some other scores. Ernest Gulbis from Latvia has defeated Sergei Stakovsky up in Sydney, 6-4, 6-4. And Li Na of China leading Bojana Jovanovski. In fact, actually they're locked at 4 games all now in the first set. Ferrer and Almagro they're both through to the semi-finals down in Auckland, or over in Auckland I should say. And now Bandian taking on John Isner. So Brianti holds to love the first hold in the match. As mentioned, it's been tough for the players sitting around for effectively 2 days. Able to get out and do anything with all the wet weather. Oh, nice work. Half volley. Got down really low, Brianti. And the ball on the rise. It's great timing. Zakopalova not happy with the call on the baseline. The coach is not too far away. So Brianti looking for a call. Nice work up the line by Zakopalova. Again, Brianti just trying to guide it up the line. Need to put a lot more on that. And that right in the corner of the court. And slightly opening up for Zakopalova here with a game point. Right, it's almost sure she gets herself into a winning position. The unforced errors creep back in. And then Brianti can just get the break. 4 games to 1 in this opening set. And Klara has asked for her coach to join her on courts. It'll be more just a settling process to just remember, go back to basics here. Just keep yourself in the point. Coaches are allowed on court in WTA events during breaks of play. You can see there the discussion going on between Zakopalova and her coach.
Done.
Interesting initiative. Some players like it, some players don't. Often you'll see the coach just standing side of court ready to go on, but the player won't call them on. It has to be at the player's instigation. But Brianti now, 4 games to 1. And as we saw in the first game, player gets out to a lead, it can be very tough for the other player to get themselves back into it. And just the errors starting to flow. Just Brianti now, all she needs to do is just be ultra consistent. Keep those first serves coming down. Don't give Zakopalova any room to manoeuvre. Okay, come up with the big shots. She's struggling for rhythm. Just wide. So Brianti holds 5 games to 1 now in the opening set, and Zakopalova just scratching her head at the moment, trying to come up with answers. That's a good start. She's at 55% first serve percentage, only winning half of those points. Just 20% on the second serve. Brianti able to climb all over it. You'll see here she'll be able to take a few steps forward. Zakopalova needs to put a little bit more on to bite off the court. As you can see, Brianti doing it with ease. That's clever. Great touch by Alberta Brianti. Her confidence is growing. And now 2 set points for the Italian. Zakopalova would have a high unforced error count at the moment. She's made plenty of mistakes. Almost. Zakopalova there was there in plenty of time though. Still another set point for the Italian. Oh, an all or nothing shot by Brianti. Had that space up the line. You need to put so much on it. Got plenty of purchase. Even if it had been a mid-court ball, Zakopalova would have been scrambling. Back to deuce. Loose shot by Brianti, just not getting around to the ball, trying to change direction. Too much pace from Zakopalova, who now has a game point. Frustrating for the Czech player. That's her third double fault for the match. That with a bit of topspin dropping. And there it is, Alberta Brianti in 28 minutes. It's taken the first set 6-1. Now to update you on some of the matches happening around the courts here. We've got 3 courts in operation as we catch up on the rain delays. Peng Shuai leading 4-3 now in the second set. Olga Govatsova took the first 6-2. And Bethany Matek-Sands 3-1 over Ayumi Murita of Japan. Second set action about to get underway. It'll be Brianti to serve. Important for Zakopalova to really make some inroads in the Brianti service game. And again, Zakopalova just struggling at the back of the court. Her coach is not too far away. See the players just occasionally glare over at their coach, particularly when things aren't going well. So back to 30 all. Well, he's been a man that's been everywhere in the last couple of days. He's been working with leaf blowers. He's been guiding people with towels. He's even operated some of the towels himself to try and get these courts dry. Michael Roberts, welcome back.
Oh, thank you very much. It's I must say it's more than a relief to be back commentating on tennis.
Yes, it is a relief to commentate on tennis as well, rather than the rain falling.
Yeah, well, I think I've been commentating, and as have you, commentated on people's techniques in trying to dry the court. It was probably the highlight of the tournament so far, seeing yourself get out of the commentary chair and come down and help, rather than sit up here in your lovely little office and overlook the people.
I have work to do. A very, very important person in the scheme of things, and food must be eaten. So, you know, that's part of the reason. I got out today, though.
Well, I think it was after a physical threat that actually got you out of the desk. So, in
fact, actually, it was several.
Yeah. So don't try and be gallant.
There's a lot of fun out there. Well, we didn't need to last night because all the fans in the stands came down to help you out.
That was fantastic. I think that's one of the best things I've seen here. We sort of said it to Rob Fairs as a joke. Said if they want to help us, there's plenty of people watching, so get out and do something rather than sit around. And yeah, there was probably about 50 odd spectators who got out and tried to help us do it. And typical 5 minutes away from actually getting some tennis on, the rain came again. Yes,
but clear forecast now, we think, for the rest of today, which is good. And the forecast, not amazing for tomorrow, but still, if we get through all the matches today and tonight, we should be able to get through the rest of the tournament on time.
Yeah, absolutely. We've always said that it's not really time that's the issue. The pointy end of the tournament, you're usually only playing on one court and have a couple of matches, but we've got 3 match courts here, which matches are all on today. So it's just a matter of basically getting through the log jam of today.
Again, Zakopalova with a break point. She works her way back into this match. Yeah, they had all sorts of different things out there to clean up the courts. We've had the towels, we had the leaf blowers, you brought the fans down. I think today we had heaters.
We had heaters. We'd try something a bit different. We've had carpet blowers, air heaters, yeah, and we pulled out the jet packs today, and they seemed to work rather effectively. So
the only problem was you strapped into a ball kid. He ended up on court 8.
Yeah, well, actually, one of the ball kids did. Well, he's taken the leaf out of my book. Last time, I had to use one of the carpet drying fans on centre court. I bent down to put it down, and my accreditation got sucked in.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that was. And we didn't quite have the breakaway lanyards back then. So I was fighting to try and save myself from being strangled. But the ball kid today got his drawstring of his pants caught in the leaf blower. So he was having a bit of a go, but almost lost his strides.
We had the cameras on too. That's the worry. Nice to see too that you've come dressed for the occasion today. We're matching outfits for the first time.
Well, I've been seeing you up here, and the tennis blue is very striking.
It is.
I thought if it's good enough for you, I actually tell you the truth. I thought I'm not going to wear a shirt while I'm drying the courts again. So I thought it was going to be wet, so dressed appropriately.
Yeah, these are the new age type shirts, the ones that absorb the sweat and keep you cool and all that sort of stuff. So
they're wasted on you, basically.
When you're lugging towels around, hey, I was out there today for a long time. Actually, did a bit of work on court 1 as well, which you didn't see.
No, much appreciated.
I've had lots of experience with cleaning up courts at local club level, so I know what it's all about. You also had the rollers out, which For those clubs and players at clubs and members that have Ontocar courts, the rollers came out.
Came out on the hard court. I thought I actually that was something that came to me last night. I thought, well, surely we, rather than people walking around and stamping on towels, we can get something a bit absorbent. And of course, the rollers have big, well, they're foam, so yeah, they work quite effectively.
Just missing Zakopalova, not able to find her range at the moment despite the break. Been tough for the players over the past couple of days. How do you handle the players when it's raining outside?
Oh, look, this is all part and parcel of being a tennis player. I think they're very used to playing the waiting game. They play cards, they talk, they read books. A lot of them don't even bother coming up, just continually hound the player desk from the hotel saying how far, how far. Yeah, you've got to think for the players. It's not ideal preparation for them going into the Australian Open, so hopefully they can get a bit of time out on court and get some practice in.
Break points again for Brianti. And she's got the break. We're back square. 1 game all in the second set. Well, I noticed a lot of the singles players didn't make their way up the hill yesterday. When I wandered into the Players Cafe, a couple of the doubles players were still hanging around. A lot were here all day, just admiring the view more than anything else because there was nothing else to do.
Well, I think the draw of free food pulls a few people up the hill.
Had me up the hill.
Absolutely.
Quick as a flash. Had me in that club room.
Yeah, no, it is must be frustrating for them because when it is raining, they don't get to go for a walk, or they don't want to really go for a walk and see the sights. So yeah, they're confined to the hotel room watching the TV.
Yes, they're confined to the hotel watching the TV, watching images of where it's raining somewhere else, and they're a hell of a lot worse off than what we are, so I think it puts things into perspective.
Absolutely, you can't complain about a couple of lost matches when you see what else is happening.
We're talking about the promise of free food, but just down from our commentary position is the corporate area, and they've had a magnificent time over the last couple of days. They've been here, the hardy souls have stayed around.
Yeah, well, I think, as you said, if they're going to get free food and alcohol put on by their host, I'm sure it doesn't really matter what's going on centre court, whether it's seagulls just plodding around in puddles or world-class women's tennis.
Tough too in terms of tournament staff. We can just see there that the lines people are spread across the 3 courts. We've got one lines person up that end of the court having to make the call, so the umpire jumping in there. So working back across 3 courts makes it hard as well.
Yeah, absolutely. This time of a tournament, we're usually down to a few lines people and umpires and also ball kids. So our ball kids have had a pretty big week, and hats off to them because they're usually the first ones that we push out with the towels to dry the courts.
And they're doing it with a smile on their face too, which is good. Good work from Zakopalova. Brianti over-committing down the line. A couple more break points over on court number 1. Kavatsova and Pungat, 4 games all. And it looks like game. We'll just wait for them to change the scoreboard over on court number 1. And modern technology here is working magnificently, and Pung's taken that 5 games to 4 for Peng Shuai. That's better from Brianti, the big first serve. So matches will continue on tonight, including the quarterfinals.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll full steam ahead now. We'll just keep playing until we get through the day, or as far through the day. Hopefully no more rain. The sky looks a bit lighter. But yeah, we've got a full day on 3 courts, so hopefully we can get through as many as possible. And we're not quite back on track, but we'll be very close to it.
I've had a few questions about the doubles event as well, which I'll ask you in a moment. Another break point for Zakopalova though. And she gets it. 3 breaks of serve, exactly the same pattern as the last set. Zakopalova, though, leading now 2-1. So the doubles event obviously has been postponed, or a lot of it, for today. That will continue on through to tomorrow.
Yeah, well, we're still trying to get through as many matches as possible with the doubles, but that's probably the most frustrating part of the draw. Singles is obviously the major focus with us, so as many singles matches as we can get.
And a lot of players, I guess, would be anxious to get across to Melbourne to start preparing for the Australian Open, but as we've been reporting all day, it's raining up in Melbourne too, so there's no point in doing that.
Yep, absolutely. And a player like Jess Moore, who got into qualifying in the Australian Open, unfortunately couldn't go because she was still playing doubles here.
Yeah, which is disappointing for her. And that doubles match will be played tomorrow, because I think they're drawn against Brianti and Vinci, and they've got quite a full book today.
Yeah, absolutely. There's a couple of players playing a few matches today, so yeah, unfortunately the Aussies hopefully will get on court tomorrow.
How are you seeing this one? This has been a weird match with breaks of serve aplenty.
Yeah, it's I haven't seen much of Brianti. She's come, I think, only once before in qualifying. Zakopalova has been coming here has been supporting our event for a number of years when she was Kukalova. So we've seen a lot of her game. She's just very, very consistent. I don't think she's got too many huge weapons, but she's very quick around the court, and obviously these two players are well matched, so could be a good game.
If all goes to plan tomorrow, what's the lineup for the semi-finals in terms of time? Are they spaced out across the day?
Yeah, they are. The usual plan for us is, our usual plan is 12 o'clock day session. We play a singles semi and a double semi, but obviously that will change. And then at night we play the same. So we'll just have to wait and see how many matches we get through today, and then make the judgment later.
They're struggling a little bit for consistency, Zakopalova, in this game throughout the match. The breaks of serve no doubt will continue. We've had the assistant tournament director drop in from time to time. He's waiting to get himself back on.
Well, I think he gave himself that title too. Not sure about that.
He fancies himself a bit as a commentator, he's telling me.
Yeah, no, he does. I think the best description was we couldn't get him on and then we couldn't get him off. So yeah. I think that was your comment about him. But he's a keen follower of the tweets. So
yes, and a Twitterer himself. Is that what you call him?
Oh, I'm not sure.
Who's someone who tweets? Are they a tweeter or a Twitterer? Twitterer. They're a twit. That's a suggestion. Really? Again looking for the call. Belova looks to her coach. We go back to 30 all. Hobart Tennis is where you can find us on Twitter. And plenty of positive tweets about getting back on court, particularly with no play up in Melbourne. So Brianti breaks, and 4 games have been played, and we've got 4 breaks in this second set. Obviously, Alicia would have been disappointed with her performance earlier today. Yeah,
that was very disappointing. I think especially she's been talking about gaining momentum, not only for the Australian Open but for Fed Cup after that. Alicia loves playing for Australia, representing her country, and she's been quite vocal about that. And to play, to lose in such fashion to an Italian that probably isn't in their lineup. In terms of the strongest singles players is probably disappointing.
But just tough too with the players having to wait around for so long. Some players react better than others. without an opportunity, obviously, with the rain to get onto a practice court today, it makes things tough.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, there's one indoor court in Hobart, and we haven't really told the players too much about it because it's not, well, it's more of a basketball court, but Alicia was down there this morning having a bit of a hit with, I think she was actually warming up with a ball kid. But yeah, so that was disappointing. Alicia hasn't spent much time around here. She's obviously one of the more seasoned players that knows that there's no point in hanging around a tennis facility when you're not playing. So we haven't seen too much of her the last few days, but yeah, it was quite a convincing win by her opponent.
So for those who may be around the Hobart area and may be wondering, what the hell is he talking about when he talks about an indoor court in Hobart? Where precisely would that be?
Parsons. It's in Moona, and yeah, there's only one. It's an amazing thing in Hobart that there is only one indoor tennis court. So it's a bit of a shame. Our state coach Simon Ewell is crying out for it when he saw the development that we built here while he was thrilled to have such a facility. He said, imagine how many indoor clay courts I could have had for that much money. So he's obviously crying out for another indoor facility.
Well, as we've seen here, it does make it tough with the weather. Predominantly in winter, I would imagine, although we've had winter-like conditions. It's just rain, but it's warm.
Well, we actually, we rang up our friends over at Bellerive and just inquired about what sort of covers they had, and just to see if there were what options we had available if it does rain again. So they've been more than helpful, which is fantastic.
Oh, any going to be making their way across?
Well, the option's there, so we now know that. They've put some covers aside for us, I think, and all we have to do is go over and pick them up. But they're not really suited for the tennis court, and I think they're second-hand and said they might have a couple of holes in them, but might make it a bit easier to dry the courts. If,
if you can put it down and just get that surface water off. That's half the battle won, really, isn't it?
It is, absolutely.
So a break point again. Zakopalova with to go 5 games and 5 breaks. And there it is. 3 games to 2 in the second set. Another break of serve. And so play tonight expected to start at 7 o'clock, we hope?
We hope. We'll just play basically straight through now. I don't think there'll be any break between day and night sessions. So, that'll be an interesting logistical issue, but we just want to get through the tournament. We want to get the players on court, and we want to get the fans down here watching as much tennis as possible. It's been frustrating for them. There's been so much hype about the event and the new facility, and for people not to be able to come and enjoy it has probably been the most disappointing aspect.
Yeah, it certainly has, but now things back on track. Been chatting to the president of Tennis Tasmania over the rain delay period. Very excited about the new developments and particularly the way competition's structured here all year round. Great opportunity to get players on the court and also hang on to members, which is so important at a local level. Yeah,
this facility is fantastic, and as we said a couple of days ago, you can pay your $20 an hour court hire and come and hit on centre court up here once the tournament's finished. So the Domain Tennis Centre's probably location-wise is the best facility in Hobart, just walking distance from town. So I encourage anyone out there that is thinking about having a hit on the courts, watching it and at home, and to come out once the tournament's over and come and have a look at the facility.
And no doubt people who are watching around the world, if you come down to Hobart, and with all the postcard type work we've been doing camera style, who wouldn't want to come down here? Just a chance to wander up the hill and have a hit yourself.
Absolutely. We do get a lot of cruise ships in, so we try to get in there. The odd person comes up and has a hit while they're having a break on their cruise. So I'm not sure if you've seen any of your viewers have seen any cruise ships parked just at the bottom of the hill, but they're very close. It's only a 10-minute walk down the bottom.
When's the next one's due in?
Don't quite have the schedule in my pocket, but
not all over that?
No,
why not?
Not all over it. I'm sure that this time of year there isn't too many days where there isn't one parked down the harbour.
That's terrific from Brianti. Again, moving forward, the big forehand. Can we have another break of serve? We're 1-all on court number 1 as well. Peng Shuai taking that from Govatsova 6-4. And with the way this is set out, the winner of that match on court 1 will take on Rani, the number 7 seed, the quarterfinals. The winner of this match on centre court will play the winner of Marion Bartley and Elena Vesnina, due on court shortly. A late call by the linesperson. And Marion was, she's here. We saw her just watching some of the play a little bit earlier.
Yeah, she's fantastic. I hadn't met her before this tournament, and we had her out at one of our sponsored cocktail nights, and yeah, she was fantastic. We had her, Alicia and Bethany Maddox-Sands, and I don't think you could have got 3 nicer players to have. They're very open, very honest in their appraisals of themselves, and hopefully very honest about their appraisal of Hobart, because they said it's a fantastic place.
Here. I agree. Speaking of Bethany Maddox-Sands, she's taken the first set of Ayumi Morita, 6-3. Games on serve in the second set. Morita, 1-love. It's a great court, that court number 8. I wandered out on the second day to watch Baltasar's match, and it's just a great community feel about it. There are no grandstands. You can pull up a picnic table if you like, and just you stand around watching the action.
Yeah, that's that's our whole facility, isn't it? You're very up close. We've got centre court, obviously, with the 2,500 seats, and the seats are very close to the action. Our second court, court 1, you've got the hill, the grass hill at the back, and then down the bottom on court 8, you're right. You can just, you could park the car and watch like the old suburban football grounds. You can watch from the front seat if you wanted. Toot the horn if someone wins a game.
Which would be handy, particularly as night falls. And if you haven't finished yet, we'll just get a couple of cars around. We'll be fine.
Turn the high beams on.
Any thought given to perhaps naming these stands around here?
It has been proposed. That the old stand that was here where the corporate stand is was the Viv Holloway stand. Viv was he's a Tennis Australia Life member. There aren't too many of them, but Viv is a Tennis Australia Life member. He was a administrator in Tennis Tasmania for a number of years, and his son is actually on the Tennis Australia board at the moment, Graham Holloway. So we just have to work out what the council want to do. It is a council-owned facility, but we would love to get names like Richard Fromberg, Simon Yule, Helen Goulet, those sorts of names. I think Alan Stones also was born in Tasmania.
Was he really?
In Launceston. There's a number of names.
Has he already sent you an email just indicating that fact?
Well, to tell you the truth...
Hello to Ellen if you're watching, by the way.
Yeah, well, I wasn't actually aware of it, but Tennis Australia's new websites, tennis.com.au, is fantastic, and
yes.
I was looking at that when it first went up, and on each state's page it rotates through legend players or players of high profile, and he was on ours, and I said, what's going on? And I looked at it, and sure enough it says he was born in Launceston.
He'll be more than happy to tell you about it as well. It's interesting, that shot on the tennis.com.au website, because Alan's wearing some of the best mutton chops you have ever seen from the early 70s. Of course, very prolific on the doubles court, Alan Stone, and played many a Davis Cup tie. I think he was unbeaten in Davis Cup competition, 6-0 in the early 70s, and of course doing some magnificent commentary work as well. Oh, if you do have the Richard Fromberg stand, can we have the Richard brackets, no frills, close brackets, Fromberg stand?
Well, Richard actually was here for Christmas with his
right.
family visiting his parents,
Yep.
and he came up and I think the comment was made, fantastic facility. You've just erased all my memories, my childhood memories.
Oh. What are they buried under here somewhere?
Oh, there's a lot of. I think a lot of people have memories of the old stands, probably painful ones of pins and needles in the legs and things like that. But no, it's great when players. Simon Ewell obviously is our state coach, so he's up here and has given so much to tennis. And Helen Goulet, while she doesn't live in Tasmania anymore, was a very successful female player.
Well, there's a couple of stands here. There's also a media centre, so there's an opportunity to recognise the tennis media identity down here in Hobart.
Put your own plaque up and
No,
name it on the way out.
Not if it's going to be a memorial stand, because it's probably just jumping the gun slightly.
Yeah. Well, if you hadn't got down there and helped with the drying of the courts today, it might have been pushed forward.
I've just come down, did a bit of community service, just helping out the tournament, trying to keep things moving along. As is Klara Zakopalova, who's leading 5-2 now, and what a change in this match. Really hasn't had to do a lot. A couple of unforced errors off the Brianti racket. Zakopalova improving her consistency. There's also the corporates. He recognised that a corporate, one of your biggest clients, could take over the corporate stand.
I'm sure we're open to all offers.
If you'd like to tweet a dollar amount, at Hobart Tennis is where you can find us.
I think you were also suggesting we put a hat around and take a collection for the addition of a roof.
Or shade sails. They tend to keep off the rain too. Similar to your Brisbane type setup.
Yeah, we'd be happy with that. Might take away from the view though.
Yeah, your Brisbane type setup, but just don't enclose it. If we could get the roof really high up, and just about the height of the top of the grandstand we're in at the moment, that'd be fantastic. So Brianti now, surprise, surprise, we have another break of serve, but Zakopalova still leading now 5-3 in this second set, and Feng Shui 3 games to love now in the third set over on court number 1. After Olga Govotsova, who was doing some very nice leaf-blowing work of her own on court today.
Yeah, we did get the players out. We told the players and the coaches, similar to the spectators
And the commentators.
and the you want to play, get out and earn your keep.
We had Yamila Groth on court last night.
Yeah,
which
I'm
is
not
fantastic.
sure how successful that was. As soon as she came on court, all the ball kids stopped and ran like bees to honey, and it probably delayed us more than anything. So that was a hindrance rather than a help.
There's a lovely shot on Twitter of Yamila Groth cleaning up, and our caption is she's putting the eye into Marilla because she was positioned right on the eye.
Oh, excellent. Good plug for the sponsor.
How is that product going, by the way? I haven't actually cited any of it.
Haven't you?
Thus far in the tournament.
Well, I must say, after your help with the court, we might be able to send one of the half-empty bottles that the corporates don't finish up here for you a bit later.
Well, that'd be fantastic. We could just scoot some of that up. That'd be magnificent. Good to see I've got credits in the bank with the tournament director as well. Always helps at an event, particularly after the event. And Zakopalova can see the frustration there. She's done well to get herself into this position. Again, just struggling with the consistency. The breeze too has picked up slightly. We had no wind for 2 days.
Yeah, that was what we usually get is the opposite up here, and the rain just did not blow away. So it was one of the frustrations. You could actually see the clouds were moving quite briskly, but there was just no breeze. We're, as you probably described, we're at the top of a hill here. I think we're close to 100 metres above sea level, even though we're right on it. And yeah, it's usually quite breezy up here, but no, that was a bit frustrating. And if it does pick up, it does become a bit, with the new stand, we've been told that it does swirl around a bit out there.
That's nice from Zakopalova, up the line. Brianti just looking for the wide ball, just not too much on that, and just guided up the line nicely. But still game point now for Brianti. And she holds. Zakopalova now to come out and serve for this second set, and Klara's asked for her coach to arrive back on court. Great initiative this by the WTA to have the coaches there providing some advice.
Yeah, it is. I'm not sure what they, what exactly they say, but whether it's more psychological just to have someone out there. But it is good. It's a great initiative. We've always got to try and make the game more interesting for the spectators, and the WTA saw that, trialled it last year, and it was a huge success. So they've continued on with it.
And the problem is that they're not facing us, so we can't actually pick up what they're saying. I know your check's actually pretty good.
Absolutely.
Or is that just the checks that you hand out?
Yeah, prize money. I do prize money. So
have you got a novelty check to give away on finals day? What can we look forward to there?
No, we give away a lot of sponsors product, a lot of Marilla wine. The players love that. There? Yes, they and surprisingly enough, they don't give it back. They do take it. We thought we give them a prize pack of wine, but we thought, oh well, they're not going to travel around with that, are they? Most of them do.
They do. Well, it's a domestic flight from here to Melbourne, so they can afford to take it with them.
Exactly.
Their accommodation. As we see, Klara Zakopalova now 5-4, serving with new balls. Serving for the second set. As we cross the hour mark of this match. Tough call. That was made by the linesperson down the other end of the court. But the umpire's also in a good position there to confirm the call. Well, the point of the match so far, and another unforced error from the Zakopalova racket. Gets the crowd involved. Been a little bit quiet, particularly with Alicia Molik going down earlier today. Been an interesting couple of days. Had an opportunity to wander down and have a chat with some of the other, I assume, club members here at the Domain Tennis Centre, who are doing some wonderful work inside the cafe, and volunteers around the place, and got some wonderful stories.
Yeah, that's one of the strengths of our event is the volunteers.
Are they all club members, the volunteers here?
Most of them are, yeah. A lot of them do come from other clubs, but I'd say the majority would be Domain Tennis Centre members. They can see the benefits that hosting an event like this at their club has for them, and yeah, they love talking to the players, and especially the drivers. I think there's basically you've got to wait for someone to die to get in as a driver these days. Our drivers are fantastic. Kirsten Palfrey, who's probably watching down in the office, does a fantastic job down there organising the drivers, and the players enjoy coming back to and seeing familiar faces around the club. We've got a few volunteers that have been with us from the start, so 18 years of volunteering in the same position. So it's one of, I guess it makes my job a lot easier as tournament director when you've got people that come back year on year and do the same or are familiar with the position.
Zakopalova now with a set point. 3 errors in a row from the Brianti racket. Terrific in the club rooms too. We'll have to talk about that at some stage. Just the memorabilia that's on the walls, all the rackets from over the years. Wooden rackets and the like. But set point now for Zakopalova.
There is actually one of the, I'm not sure if you had a look at some of the trophies or the honour boards in there, but the honour board of the Tasmanian Men's Championship is just, it's a who's who of Australian tennis. Arthur Ashe even has been down here and won it. So
really?
Yeah, it's just amazing that back then in the non-professional era that all the players that came down, and there's actually also the Australian Men's Hardcourt Trophy that used to travel around, is actually in the clubhouse. So yeah, it is great for people to come in and have a look at that sort of.
Did our friend
stuff.
A Stone happen to? Is he on a board down here?
He would have to be, wouldn't he?
Maybe in the doubles. He'll be very excited when I catch up with him in Melbourne, and I just let him know that he might be in the frame for a potential grandstand naming.
Top 5.
Rackets from all the different eras, back to the 1920s. You've got rackets in there.
Yeah, the barman is the barman's a Canadian, and he's a bit of a tennis memorabilia or tennis racket enthusiast.
They were saying to me that he jumps on eBay just to find all sorts of memorabilia, and there's all sorts of books in there as well.
Yeah,
Harry Hopman's book is in there.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Top read yesterday as I was whiling away the hours.
Well, we should actually try and get, if he's still around, one of our Tennis Tasmania board members, Dennis Tucker, who has undoubtedly one of the best tennis memorabilia collections in Australia. He spends an enormous amount of money getting autographs and medals, and I think he's got one of the most complete collections of Grand Slam winners' autographs in the world. So yeah, he's actually building a museum at his home for people to come and have a look, which is great.
Which is a must stop if I keep coming down here. Hopefully I will. Zakopalova now with another set points. There's so much tennis history and memorabilia out there, probably sitting in cupboards and in attics and all that sort of thing that's due to come out. Well done by Brown. That's amazing touch. Bit of side spin thrown in as well. Zakopalova did very well to get to that ball.
Yeah, as I said earlier, she's probably one of the quicker players around. She moves very well, but just couldn't get to that one.
How would Dennis go with the new iPad Australian Open application, where you can actually, the players can sign on the iPad?
Well, that's I think he'd be all over that. He's a big fan. I think he sent a list down of players to get autographs for us.
All right.
Just you can't get enough of it.
Peng Shuai of China is through to the next round. 6-love in the third set. The qualifier, Olga Golitsova. Zakopalova now to level this at 1-set-all. And still can't.
We often see this with the players. They get these opportunities to serve out a set, and I don't know, they start to tighten up a bit and don't play their usual free-flowing game.
That's terrific. 1-2 from Zakopalova. Another set point. It's tough, they say, to serve out a set and a match. Needs a first serve here. And she's done it. 1 set all now. Oh, Zakopalova taking that second set. 6 games to 4. Michael Roberts, we'll let you get back to work. No doubt there's a million things you've got to be doing other than hanging out with me.
Thank you very much, and no, it was a pleasure. I might go and send my assistant tournament director up, relieve him of his duties or something, and...
yeah, tell him to get off the Twitter and get up here.
Absolutely.
We'll see you soon.
Thank you.
Michael Roberts, the tournament director of the Marilla Hobart International. So into the third set here with Brianti serving. Some big news too coming out of Melbourne. We'll get to that in just a moment. The next match on court 1 features Angelique Kerber taking on Alla Kudraseva of Russia. That's terrific from Zakopalova. Ball right in the hitting zone. Did not have to move. It's still Brianti with a game point in this third and deciding set. Winner of this match, of course, to take on Marion Bartley or Elena Vesnina. That match next up on centre court. Now, the big news coming out of Melbourne Park today, obviously qualifying has been affected by the rain, but the superstars of world tennis will gather on Sunday afternoon in Melbourne for a special exhibition to raise money for the victims of Australia's flood disaster. Roger Federer, Rafael Nadal, Kim Clijsters, Sam Stosur, Leighton Hewitt, Novak Djokovic and Pat Rafter headline a glittering list of tennis's elite who will momentarily put aside their Australian Open preparations for the Rally for Relief tennis match at Rod Laver Arena on Sunday at 2 p.m. Many of the international tennis fraternity have been horrified by the disaster. And a quote from Roger Federer: along with many of the other players, I was moved by the devastation caused by the floods. We just wanted to do something to help aid the recovery because we know there are thousands of Australians who will continue to suffer as a result of this disaster. Queenslanders Pat Rafter and Sam Stosur officially announced the Rally for Relief at the Medibank International Sydney as a key plank in a major fundraising campaign by the entire international tennis community. Players in lead-up events in Sydney, Brisbane, Hobart, Adelaide, Perth and Kooyong have all been inquiring as to how they can help the flood-ravaged communities and pledging money and assistance. Tennis Australia will coordinate the tennis community's fundraising effort, which will run through Australian Open 2011. The campaign includes Sunday afternoon's Rally for Relief, a gold coin donation at Saturday's Kids Tennis Day, a special shirt off their backs ongoing auction of autographed player apparel belonging to some of the biggest names in the sport, and an ATP and WTA pledge of $10 for every ace served by players at the Brisbane International, the Medibank International Sydney, right here at the Marilla International in Hobart, and the Australian Open. And all proceeds go to flood relief across the nation. Now, if you're in the Melbourne area or around Australia, the tickets for Rally for Relief are $20 into Rod Laver Arena and available through Ticketek from 3 o'clock today. So that they are already on sale now. And tickets also available in Melbourne at a couple of the box offices there. No details on coverage as yet, but a magnificent performance by some of the biggest names in tennis around the world to support the Queensland flood victims, and that will be on Sunday afternoon, Rod Laver Arena, and getting underway at 2 p.m. And more information you can find on the Australian Open website, and we'll also be including it on the Hobart Tennis Twitter. So a magnificent gesture by the players here, and also the WTA, who have been supporting the cause, the flood relief cause as well. And the pictures you can have a look at on the Australian Open website, but also on the WTA Tour website and the Brisbane International website of the flooding up there at the Pat Rafter Arena, and just some shocking images from up there. So Zakopalova now with points to level this third set at 1 game all. It's nice from Brianti. Great forehand down the line. Well, it's my great pleasure now to introduce the president of Tennis Tasmania, Peter Armstrong, who's joined me in the commentary position. Welcome, Peter.
Great to be here, and great to have our second match actually being played for the day.
Yeah, you and I have been sitting around watching the rainfall for the last couple of days. It's been frustrating, hasn't it?
It certainly has, but things look much brighter now, so we're looking forward to the rest of the tournament.
Zakopalova now with another game point. This breeze picks up slightly, and she holds 1 game all in the third set. Been a busy time for you, obviously, with a lot of the corporates staying on over the last couple of days, but also making sure that the court gets dried up and keeping everyone happy.
Yes, it has been frustrating, but yeah, the corporates have certainly stuck with us. I guess their advantage is they're undercover, but also a number of members of the public have gone through the long hours, and finally we're back on court. The ground staff this morning did a wonderful job, because still I'm looking at some of the car parks around the centre. They're still wet, so the ground staff done a fantastic job to get the whole of this court dry.
Some more scores from the outside courts. I can tell you that Bethany Matic Sands has had a win out on court number 8 in straight sets. We'll get the actual score for you in just a moment, but that means then that Roberta Vinci and Elena Beltasha are now out on court. And you'll remember from 2 days ago with Roberta Vinci taking the first set 6-3, but Beltasha has already played a match out there on court number 8, and so she will be acclimatised to the conditions out there. It's a wonderful centre here, Peter, with the Domain Tennis Centre, and you and your board here at Tennis Tasmania have done a wonderful job in the development of the grandstands, but also the other facilities around the courts. That there's different surfaces for members to play on. It really is a hub of the community up here.
Yeah, it is the centre of tennis in Tasmania, and the Domain Tennis Centre. They've done a fantastic job, as you've noted, with the other courts, and we've got synthetic clay, synthetic grass, and of course the 6 plexi cushion of international standard. So plenty to choose from, right from beginners through to our elite squad. So yeah, the centre really looks good, and it's a credit to all the partners in this deal, because it's taken a number of years, funding from various levels of government, the state government, federal government, Hobart City Council, and cooperation also from Tennis Tasmania and the Domain Tennis Centre.
And we see Alberta Brianti just asking for her coach to come onto the court and give her a bit of advice, with Zakopalova breaking to go to 2-1. And well, we're talking about the membership here. There's quite a healthy membership. What are some of the challenges for Tennis Tasmania going forward?
Well, I guess the immediate past, we've been focusing on improving facilities, and that is across the state. There is an international tournament in Burnie up on the northwest coast, and there's been a major upgrade to facilities there. We're about to open a new regional centre in Launceston, and we've been speaking about developments here. So infrastructure in the 3 main regions is now first class. So the challenges are to build on that base, and that means with community tennis and participation. So it starts with programs like Hot Shots, the Tennis Australia sponsored program, but of course involves everybody working with the juniors, and that means coaches, staff in schools, teachers in schools, getting people involved, and then maintaining their interest in tennis by having fun events and a pathway for players at every level. So the challenge now is to increase levels of participation and, as Steve Wood would say, have more people playing tennis for longer.
Yes, he was down here a couple of days ago, just visiting the facility along with Tennis Australia President Stephen Healy. So you see here, love 30 for Brianti. It's good again from Zakopalova. Great knee bends. Great power through that forehand up the line. It was open, took advantage. There certainly are challenges. We were talking yesterday as the rain was falling about some of the challenges in tennis going forward, and one of those things has been the shift, I guess, in culture, whereas 20 years ago juniors coming along would have been products of their parents playing at a local tennis club. Now we're not really seeing that. We're seeing a diversification. We're seeing parents who wouldn't have necessarily played a sport or only played for a short time, and they don't have that sort of sense of history or belonging with the club. So in some respects it's a harder sell to get the kids to come across to tennis when there's so many other options out there.
Sure, there's a lot of competition from hockey, basketball, football, cricket in the state, netball, another one. So we're all competing in the same market, but I guess on the positive side, just having people involved in sport, whatever it is fantastic, and we're very fortunate in this country to have those opportunities. But of course, our focus is tennis, and we want people participating, and we want to produce some more champions, like our national title winner, Harry Boucher, who's just won the national 14 singles and doubles title. I mean, that's sort of the top of the tree, but it's great to know that we can produce that sort of player here in Tasmania.
Well, it's interesting that you bring that up, because I was chatting with Michael Roberts before, as we see Zakopalova now consolidating the break and leading 3-1, about the grandstands that you put in here and the possibility of actually naming those grandstands after prominent tennis players from Tasmania. If you were given the opportunity, and I'm sure you will, to have input into that, any sort of names that immediately spring to mind that you think would be worthy of that?
Well, there are many. I guess from the immediate past, our most notable player is Richard Fromberg, who was brought up nearby this centre and is well known for his feats in open tennis and Davis Cup. Simon Newell, of course, is a national coach based here, and Simon won many titles, reached the last 16 of Wimbledon. Great player and great coach. And then we go back to players like Helen Goulet. So, yeah, there'll be many names come forward, I'm sure, if we go down that track.
So Brianti now, it's 30-15. Having to keep herself in this third set. By the way, the Matic Sands Marita score 6-3, 6-1. So straight sets win. And it means the Matic Sands will play the winner of the match on court 1 between Angelique Kerber and La Kudryasheva. They've just gotten underway over there. Well, I think Alan Stone was also a name that was bandied around by Michael Roberts. Apparently he was born in Launceston, which we didn't know.
All right. Well, that's great to know too. Put that one in the mix.
There'll no doubt be a number of administrators too that would certainly be worthy of the honour as well.
Yes, and we should note that this stand used to be called the Viv Holloway stand. Viv Holloway was Vice President of Tennis Australia going back a number of years. So yes, there will be administrators who come into that picture as well.
So breakpoint opportunity for Zakopalova to go to a 4-1 lead now in the third set. Been a big turnaround for her, an error-riddled first set. She's been grinding away. Brianti's level hasn't really dropped, and you can see with shots like that why Klara Zakopalova is in control of this final set, leading 4-1 now. And as the players have their sit down, the future of tennis in Tasmania, Peter, we see all around Australia the expansion program and resurfacing programs and the MLC tennis hotshots for the young kids to get them back involved. What do you see as the way forward for tennis in Tasmania?
Yeah, well, it is about getting people involved. You talked before, Peter, about the traditional days where tennis was based on suburban centres and on families in particular. So tennis was very much a social thing, and often whole families participated in tournaments and were prepared to spend days at a time actually playing or waiting for their kids, encouraging their kids. But things have moved on. The pressures of life now with people working part-time, and that includes young players. So I think the way forward with participation is just got to be flexibility, and it's a challenge to come up with formats that suit people now 7 days a week. We've been experimenting with that at the Domain. Just as an example, we have pennants here that run 6 to 8 o'clock in the evenings, and they're very popular because, you know, parents know that there's a set starting time for their kids, pretty much a set finishing time. The kids get a good workout over a short period. So examples like that. I think a challenge for tennis generally is to come up with an event, a format like 2020 cricket, the tennis equivalent, and someone that can come up with an idea there. I'm sure there's a lot of money to be made. So
just let me write that down for a minute, Peter. I might just see what I could do overnight to come up with something.
Yes,
we'll split the profits. It's okay.
I think innovations like the fast deuce and the super tiebreak third set in doubles. I know that's used in junior events as well. That's helping, but I think there's room for new concepts in events and formats in format for particularly for junior players, and whether that means pro sets or whatever, but just to let people participate in a shorter period of time in a set time format.
Close to the line there from Brianti. It brings up a break point for Brianti as she tries to work her way back into this match. Been down in Tasmania and seen a lot of tennis over your time, Peter. What's been the biggest highlight of watching this tournament grow?
Well, this tournament's been going now for 18 years. This is the 18th year, and I guess we're looking at the highlight right now to have what is clearly a world-class boutique stadium. That has to be a highlight, and if we need evidence for that, it's in the recognition by Tennis Australia to give us a Fed Cup tie, a very important Fed Cup tie shortly between Australia and Italy. So looking forward to that as a highlight, but you need the facilities first, and yeah, it's great to look out over this centre and just acknowledge the work that's gone in, particularly over the last few years, to get the facilities and have the credibility to get the recognition that's come from Tennis Australia.
So the break is on here. Brianti serving at 2-4 in the final sets. And they've been fighting tooth and nail. It's been a game of breaks of serve, or match of breaks of serve, I should say, throughout. And at crucial times, we see Zakopalova now out to a 4-2 lead in this final set, but don't write off Alberta Brianti, who's come through qualifying to get to this stage. Has played plenty of matches already in 2011. As we see that ball drift wide.
Brianti has a backhand that reminds me of Justine Ennen. Lovely single hand backhand, free flowing.
You don't see it all that much in the women's and also the men's game, the one-handed backhand. I tell you, Justine's is beautiful to watch, even when she's not playing well.
Yes.
Something that she said she's been self-taught on the main. She didn't really go through any formalised coaching starting off. She just came up with that backhand and away she went. And I think you're right there as we see another backhand, Peter, from Brianti there.
Yes, the hardest shot in tennis, the off single hand backhand, yeah.
I mentioned to Michael Roberts, I was in the club rooms or the Players Cafe yesterday and seeing all the various memorabilia over the walls. Anyone written a history of Tasmanian tennis, or in particular around this facility?
No, I don't think there's a neat single version. Various people have written bits and pieces over the years, but it's a challenge because I think, as Michael was mentioning earlier, all the greats have been here, and over the course of the 18 years of Marilla, new history's been written, so that's a challenge.
Something that the tennis community, we're starting to see a lot, and I know the Australian Open website has a lot of history from the vaults is appearing on the website, but when you look outside of the main Grand Slam tournament, one thing I think tennis could do a lot better is chart its history, even at a club level with some of the older clubs, being able to catalogue that history. We can put things online now for people to have a look at, YouTube for all the archival footage that's there, and really be able to capture a comprehensive history of tennis in Australia, both at the top level, which the Australian Open and Tennis Australia does really well, but also down to the club level and the association level and the state level, capturing that history, because there's been so much of it, with tennis being such a popular sport.
Absolutely, it has been such a sort of key part of the development of Australia. All of us can remember great players looking back and not so far back. So yeah, that's a challenge for member associations and clubs. We should take that up.
Zakopalova breaks and leads 5-2. She'll be coming out to serve for the match. Second round action, and the winner of this match to play the Marion Bartoli or Elena Vesnina in the quarterfinals. That match to follow next here on our centre court down here at the Marilla Hobart International. Well, obviously you'll have some official duties over the next couple of days. We head towards the final. Do you play a part on finals day?
Yes, in that official capacity, I believe there are two things that I'll be involved in. First, the official opening of the stadium.
Oh, so that hasn't occurred yet?
No, it hasn't. I believe that's to occur before the final. And there'll be various government representatives there from federal, state and local government.
Do you know who will the Premier be making an appearance for that?
I'd expect the Premier, and I believe Julie Collins, the local federal member, will be there, and of course the Mayor of Hobart, Rob Valentine. And I know that both the Premier and the Lord Mayor will be at the final on Saturday, and we're looking forward to that.
So Klara Zakopalova now serving for the match at 5-2. Have you thought about maybe manufacturing some postcards from just where we are here in our commentary position, out looking over what is a magnificent, such a panoramic view?
It certainly is, and it's probably been noted over the last few days by various commentators when the cruise ships are in the port as well. It really does set the river up as a great picture frame. So good idea, Peter. You're full of good ideas.
And I don't charge either. That's a good thing.
It is certainly a postcard picture. We're in the Eagle's Nest, looking straight down the Derwent River to Storm Bay, and for those people who follow yachting, this is exactly where the Sydney to Hobart yacht race finishes.
Did you sneak up at any stage as the boats were coming up the Derwent?
It's a great place to see the boats coming up their final leg. Yeah, terrific view straight down the Derwent.
So 30-15 here, Zakopalova looking good. Although, as we've seen this match, it can turn quite quickly. Zakopalova looks to have found her range, and she has there with an ace. She closes in now on match point. This match has been in progress 1 hour and 40 minutes. Fourth ace. And looking for a fifth there.
Tried the winner down the tee. Traditional finishing point.
Almost. Matter of millimetres.
Yes.
But still another match point though for Klara Zakopalova, the number 5 seed in this event, to follow up her win over Melanie Udan in the first round for a spot in the quarterfinals. And there it is. She did it the hard way, but the number 5 seed is through to the quarterfinals. Klara Zakopalova 1-6, 6-4, 6-2 over the Italian Alberta Brianti in 1 hour and 41 minutes.